What up, condos? Welcome back.
Hurry up.
What up, condos? Welcome back to our YouTube channel. So today we're going to be filming a little Q&A on hypnobirthing, following from our hypnobirthing vlog that we uploaded yesterday. So we documented our classes as well as spoke a little bit about what they entailed, I guess. So a few of you guys have sent some questions through on Instagram and YouTube, so we're going to answer those now. But before we get started, make sure you hit that bell button, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, and make sure you comment done in the comments below for a post notification shout out. And for extra points, you can hashtag the condos on my Instagram, Nick's or Georgie's.
Yeah.
Is hypnobirthing worth it if you are having a planned cesarean? I think it is, because hypnobirthing teaches you all about being in a positive state of mind for birth, and not just in birth in general, you can apply it to life. So I think if you are having even a planned cesarean, doing something like hypnobirthing really educates you on the whole birth process, and it also it's still pretty full on. You're awake when they cut you open, so being able to breathe through that and use all those relaxation techniques would also come in handy for a cesarean. What do you think? Did you fall and hit your head? What do you
Seriously, giving birth is still giving birth. So whether it's in one way or another, you still need to be in a positive mindset, like I've said.
Yeah.
It's daunting, and especially if you've never done it before.
So
this course 100% preps you for what's to come, and what to expect, and it'll just make you understand what's going on with your body, regardless of whether you're giving birth naturally or not. So 100% recommend that.
That was a smart answer.
Shut up.
Love the hypnobirthing vlog. What techniques did Nick learn to help support you in labour? So this is a question for you to answer. What did you learn?
Okay, thank you for that introduction or whatever that was. So the first one was...
The question is, what techniques did Nick learn to help support you in labour?
First thing was obviously this soft touch massage. Basically, this was the most important thing, and probably the thing that I'll use the most.
Oh, really? Is this what you took away?
When in labour. Can you let me speak? Yes, a soft touch massage. So basically when in labour and going through surges or contractions, you would have seen in the last video that this soft touch massage actually releases endorphins, what are they called?
Yeah, it does. Release endorphins.
Yeah, natural endorphins, and
to make you feel good.
Yeah, basically will make Saf feel really good and kind of take her mind off the pain.
We shouldn't call it pain.
No, what do we
That's
call it?
That's not hypnobirthing talk. Take my mind off the surges that are happening.
Okay, take the mind off the
only
surges.
last a minute.
So, a quick explanation of what the soft touch massage is. Basically, Saf will sit in front of me, and you basically run your fingers really lightly around her back, up to her neck, her arms, around the stomach where the baby is.
Kind of like this.
Legs.
It's it feels nice. If you just
like this, so you just do this really fast?
No, yourself now. Actually, everybody, let's do this all together. Let's go, that just feels so good. You just go lightly, and you go down your arms. And you'll feel your thighs are really good.
You'll feel the tingling sensation.
Everyone loves a scratch. I feel like everyone...
It's not a scratch. You'll feel the tingling sensation, and that's your endorphins releasing, and that kind of counters the surge pain.
Or any pain that you may be feeling.
Yes, and that's probably one thing that I'll use the most. The next one was...
I don't know why you're looking down. It's not here.
No. There's actually, as I was saying, there are actually pressure points on the body.
Oh yes, let me find that page.
Yeah, so pressure points that can relieve pain whilst in labour.
So this is Nick's cheat.
So you get I get a cheat sheet. I get a cheat sheet. I want to explain. Give me it. I want to show it. So for example, there's 8. Or no, more than 8. There's heaps. But there was 8 that I can remember. For example, this one. When she's you know, going through something, you go like this. See this point?
Where does this point help?
This, I'll tell you in a minute. See this point here between your, like there? You squeeze it.
Ow!
It didn't hurt that much.
Hard.
That's a pain relief pressure point. It promotes labour, cervical ripening, and calming.
Oh, so you're just trying to bring on Georgii right now by pressing that. That brings on labour, but it can be for pain.
There's another one here for the wrist. You push on this, right? Calming, anxious and nausea, vomiting.
You don't push it. That's not how you push on it.
It is. I'm doing it right now.
I have 2 fingers on it, like this.
No, it's the one finger. See, look.
But then why did you grab onto it with 3?
Because it's hard to hold this and do this.
Show them. Are you getting the right spot?
Yeah, you push that in there.
Ow! What? Nick's doing it really hard and not properly.
Yes, I'm not.
That's better.
Yes, I'm not. And then you push in.
That's better.
Onto the pressure point. And there's that calms and stops nausea, or what's the other thing? Anxiety, actually. What are you feeling?
Like I want to punch you. Okay.
So, obviously back pain's a massive thing during labour.
Yeah, you can get all your contractions or surges towards the back, and that can be very painful if you're feeling it at the back.
So another pain relief pressure point is actually on the lower back. So, can everyone see this? Here, this one there. So, whenever you see like those 2 little dimples and on anyone's lower back, those 2 points just outside of them, you push them in. And
where the sacrum is, around the sacrum, and it'll relieve pressure, and it'll help you through your surges. So if your birth partner, whoever they may be, if they can just push on these certain pressure points, I'm sure you can find them on Google, but up here is really good too.
Yeah. So here,
No, they're not.
Here. So those are probably the 2 things. Oh, and also the exercises that we showed you in the last video.
Yeah.
Those 3 things is something
they're really good tricks.
Super good tricks for any birth partner.
And they're good to do in the lead up to giving birth too, not just when you are labouring. It's good to do like during.
Yeah.
Like beforehand.
Yep. So I think the husband or partner or whatever, the father, needs to know this stuff in order to support the mother.
So the next question I got is, what are birth preferences? Okay, so this, Amy, hi, you must have heard this in our video. We're talking about birth preferences. So your birth preferences is kind of like your birth plan, but in hypnobirthing we say preferences over plan, because things don't always go to plan, and the minute you kind of say something's a plan, you're kind of setting yourself up for this high expectation that may or may not happen. So your preferences are things that you would want to happen during your labor, when your baby is born, and then post-birth. So some things you could include in your birth preferences is having a dimly lit room, where midwives don't say the word contraction, for example, they say surges. It could be that you would rather tear naturally than have an episiotomy and be cut. So your preferences are things like that. I do really want to share mine with you guys. We're in the middle of still putting ours together. But some birth preferences that I can share with you right now that I know that I really want to do is I want delayed clamp and cord cutting. So I don't want to cut the cord straight away. So I want to try wait as long as possible. And I also want to give birth to my placenta naturally. I don't want the oxytocin injection in my leg. So I'm...
Syntocin.
Oh, Syntocin?
Yeah.
Syntocin. It's in synthetic oxytocin.
There's a synthetic version of the natural hormone that we produce.
You knew something that I didn't for once. Wow. Why are you so mean?
How am I mean? Look, did you hear what Are you delusional?
No, I said the wrong word. Things happen. Syntocin. Yes. So, how you can promote, I guess, giving birth to your placenta naturally is by breastfeeding straight away and just kind of bonding with your baby, and then it'll detach naturally. So I'm going to try and wait. So a natural delivery of a placenta can take anywhere up to 30 minutes. So doctors and midwives can be in a hurry sometimes. So unless you make it clear, I guess, in your birth preferences, you don't want to get to the hospital and you want to wait for the natural delivery, and then they're like, what? No. And then they kind of rush you along and you have this like weird fight. Really important.
Some doctors will just jab you with the
Yeah, we've
Syntocin,
heard, yeah.
and they don't even tell you. They just say bang, and then all of a sudden you get contractions again, and then the placenta comes out.
Yeah, and they also try to they pull on your cord as well. Like, that's another birth preference, that I don't want anyone pulling on my cord, because if you do that, sometimes you can leave a bit of the placenta behind.
And then get infected.
Yeah, or you could die.
What?
Well, if it's poisonous to your body, then once it deteriorates. Okay, that's probably extreme.
That's extreme. Die. You'll notice, apparently, if it's parts of it stay in there, you can start smelling it, and it will go kind of rotten because it's dead, so to speak. And then you need to get an operation to get it out.
But had like your care professionals been a little bit more patient, then you might have been fine. So yeah, it's just about like, knowledge is power, and I think that's the main thing about hypnobirthing, is that we are so educated now on the whole process from start to finish. Like, we've learned so much, even down to the hormones you release when you go into labor, and we understand those things now. So
no one can have it over you.
Yeah, so when doctors are trying to like promote you to have these synthetic drugs to bring on labor and stuff, you can be like, well, no, like I know that it's better if it's more natural for this and that. So you're more educated.
Yeah, and just wait 30 minutes, doctor. We don't have to be so hasty.
Sometimes it might not come out, and sometimes you may need that Syntocin to help, but I want to try wait, and we'll see what happens. I also want to have as natural birth as possible, but if for some reason I do need a cesarean, I will have one, but that's because it's in a medical emergency, not because of some silly reason. That's just my personal preference. So
yeah,
if
you want to ask questions. If a doctor says no, we're cutting it, say why. Like, why do we need to cut it? Is there a medical reason for this? Am I in trouble?
Yeah.
Is it just because you're in a hurry? What's going on?
Yeah, you just need to ask questions, and you need to be like strong and stand your ground with those kind of things.
And that's a massive thing. Sorry, back to the other question of what the birth partners can do, is that if SAPPH doesn't have that voice on the day, or the mother doesn't have that voice on the day, it's where we step in. Because we know the birth preferences, we can step in and say, no, hang on. Yeah, and definitely have
a printed out copy too.
Yeah, we're going to print out a copy and stick it on the front door as well. So midwives know what's going on, midwives know our preferences, and the doctor. And I can step in if they try and intervene in any other way possible.
Also need to tell them beforehand. So you need to like, when you see it go for one of your like later checkups, bring in your birth preferences. So you want to have things on it. Like, I'll show you guys an example right here. This is an example. Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. This is an example of birth preferences. So there's prior to admission, for admission, during labor, during birth, and in case of a cesarean. Another thing is I don't want any vaginal examinations, or too many anyway. So a vaginal examination is when they actually stick their fingers up into your cervix. So if your cervix isn't like open yet, and they try and shove their fingers in there, it can be quite painful. And the way they measure how many centimeters you're dilated is by how many fingers they can fit in you. And it's pretty, like, I don't want to be violated. Like, I'm fine. So
you don't need...
You can tell by how far apart the contractions are. So
you don't need an examination like that. You just say, just wait, contractions are this far apart, I think we're ready to go.
No, not even that. You just kind of, and sometimes it's disheartening. You think you're further along than what you are, and then when they tell you you're only like 3 centimeters, it can actually slow down the process. So I just want to try and not be touched too much.
It'll screw with your mental space.
It can.
You've been going for
sometimes they do need to check for certain reasons.
If you've been going for 12 hours long and they're like, oh, you're only a centimeter, and it's been 12 hours, you're like, oh, like you feel like shit.
And also, every woman is different. So, you might be like 3 centimeters right now, but within the space of 2 hours, you could be fully dilated. Like, it doesn't always mean, like, everyone's bodies work differently. So I think the number one thing is to be educated and just be really, really clear and thorough with your birth preferences, like what you want. And make it clear to all your healthcare professionals. And I think if you're clear about things, then people will try and accommodate you best they can. And if there is a medical emergency, you're educated, you know, and it's okay to do medical procedures if they're necessary. But try keep it, I guess, as natural as possible if everything is like a textbook birth, I think.
Yeah.
What are some natural ways you learnt to start labour? So some natural ways to start labour. So there is natural things you can do. Obviously, the main thing that you learn in hypnobirthing is that your baby will come when it's ready. But if you don't want to have an induction, which can be quite terrifying and uncomfortable and can lead to other medical intervention later on down the track, so there is some natural ways. So some natural ways is acupuncture. So you can move baby down and into position. This is something that I've been doing. He actually dropped after I did this acupuncture session. Do you call it a session?
I suppose.
Yeah, but he's not engaged yet. But as of next week, I'm doing acupuncture every week to just make sure that he's in the right position, and it also helps blood flow to the uterus and vagina, because then that helps bring on labor. So you can do things like that. You can do reflexology, massage, I guess sex, because to go into labor you need to release oxytocin, and I guess when you're making love you are producing that hormone, so then that can send you into labor. Spicy foods, I've heard. There's a clary sage, so that is like a aromatherapy. So it's like a
apparently
oil.
Clary sage is banned
In some hospitals
now because it's proven that when that...
Well, it's not proven.
Not proven, but when the smell of the clary sage is going through the hospital, all these women start going into labour.
No, it's not like that.
That's what do you mean?
No, it's not like that. It's just if you have a pregnant midwife or there's someone else that's pregnant and they smell it, it could cause them to go into labour. You make it sound so dramatic. And it's not banned where we're going at the Mater.
No, but at the Gold Coast it's banned.
In some places it is, but...
Clary sage. If you're like 40 weeks pregnant, 41, 42 weeks pregnant, and you haven't gone into labour yet,
yeah, try clary sage.
try clary sage, because it's banned for a reason.
Oh my God. Another thing is walking. So go for a walk. Like exercise really helps, like move baby down, and try some exercises like some of the techniques that you saw in the other vlog that we did. But walking is really important, and being active, that will definitely help bring on labour. Any other aromatherapy, meditation, your affirmations, like saying you're ready for like baby to come, saying you're open. There's actually a script that we got, the opening, what's it called?
Opening lotus flower script.
No, is it actually?
Yes, there.
You can use visualization. Like our brains are actually so crazy smart. Oh, that sounds really dumb. Brains are like really powerful. That's a better way to say it. So if you like visualize yourself like kind of opening up and giving birth, that can even send you into labor. You also will go into labor most likely at night, because melatonin is another hormone that gets released, and that's at night. So yeah, being in the dark space.
Melatonin is released during like the nighttime because it gets released when it's dark. So that's why, and then what melatonin does is also release oxytocin. So when melatonin is released, it brings on oxytocin, which brings on labour.
So yeah, that can
help. Which brings on, when I say labour, I mean contractions.
Yeah, these are like lots of things that you can do, natural things. I've heard there's also a tea. So I'm sure you could Google so many natural ways. But just being ready and open, I think, is really important, because the mind is very powerful, and I think being in a great state of mind. So next question. Claire, before this, did you want to go C-section? You know what? Years ago, before I was pregnant, I thought I did want a C-section. I scheduled one because the thought of, like, I guess pushing a watermelon out of something the size of a pea, you're like really scared, especially when you're a lot younger. But then as I became more educated about childbirth and then I got pregnant, it's funny how your mind changes like instantly. I'm like, no, I want to go all natural. I'm scared of needles. So that's kind of like the catch-22 with the C-section at the beginning, when I was thinking that I don't want to be, I hate not moving, so I didn't want to be paralyzed. I didn't want a needle, and I didn't really want to be cut open while awake. So there's all those fears.
Yep.
And then I was like, well, then I don't want to have a needle either and give birth naturally and not be able to feel when to push. Like I feel like I have no control. And that's when I came across hypnobirthing. So actually answering another question there. So once I learnt a little bit more about hypnobirthing and about childbirth, I was like, no, I can do this. This is a natural way. I feel like natural is best. But if you're uneducated, you are scared, and you like the thought of pushing something out is a scary, hard thought.
You'll find that most women make their decisions. Most women make uneducated decisions on their childbirth.
No, definitely. There's no one there to teach you.
So you can't possibly say, no, I want this, I want this, without knowing
everything.
All of the ins and outs about childbirth. You can't possibly make an educated decision. So that's why hypnobirthing is so perfect, because it tells you everything down to
start to finish.
What hormones are released, what will happen if you have an epidural, what will happen if you have a C-section, what will happen if you give birth naturally, what will happen to the bonding of you and your baby.
What was the most important thing you learnt from hypnobirthing? I think everything was important, but one of the most things that stood out to me was that how the position you give birth in actually affects the birth and can prevent you from tearing and things like that. So I learned a lot about how your pelvis actually opens up so much more. If you're kind of bent over, you have 30% more space than if you're lying down trying to push upwards against gravity with your legs up, not being able to feel anything. So I found that super interesting, about how different positions and different exercises can help, open up your pelvis area. So birth is a lot quicker and easier, and baby doesn't get stuck. And I also learned that the baby does a lot too. So our job as women, it's probably the main takeaway I got from hypnobirthing, is that I need to create space so that Georgii can get out, because he does all the maneuvering and moving himself. Babies know how to do that, which is pretty crazy amazing. So the exercises that you saw in the last vlog, they're really important for opening up. Actually just going for walks and loosening your muscles is really important, because if your muscles are too tight, then they're not going to stretch. So that's a really good thing about acupuncture too. That's loosening me up, creating blood flow, getting that space soft and ready for childbirth. Yeah, so it's all about creating space. And then if you're fearing tearing, which is something I fear, but you can't fear, that's another thing you learn in hypnobirthing. You have to just accept whatever's going to happen. Putting a warm washer down there, being in the bath for majority of your labor softens the skin. A perineum massage. There's all these little tips and tricks that you can do to prevent things like that. I didn't really know any of this before. So once you kind of know all that stuff, you're not scared anymore about it. But yeah, one of the most important things I did learn was I need to create space. And definitely be in a position that's open. Just think of animals when they give birth. They're not going to lie there with their feet up. It doesn't make sense. Hypnobirthing really opens your eyes to those little things, and I learned a lot about the hormones that get released. Did you know anything about that?
I know nothing about anything.
And it was for skin to skin and breastfeeding.
It's incredible.
And how breastfeeding contracts your stomach back in.
Oh yeah. So most women are worried about the weight that they've put on during a pregnancy, which is fine. And that's a natural way of thinking. But what helps drop the weight so quickly is breastfeeding. So as the milk, flows.
What do you mean, as you feed your baby?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
As the milk gets sucked out of you, you'll start dropping the weight.
No, you get contractions from breastfeeding, and that contracts your uterus back into its original size.
Yeah,
and
not
can
just
help
that, but apparently...
Oh, and it does help with weight loss, because all
your
fat storage that you've had while pregnancy is going into the milk.
She said.
Sorry, I just had to take over there.
The fat storage on you that you put on...
It's actually to make milk. It's
actually milk. And then when the baby comes, all that fat goes into your boobs. And then out.
Oh my god. So much I want to know. Was it expensive? It can be. It depends, but it's education. So it's do you put a can you really put a price on that? Every dollar. So if you do, there's different ways you can do it. So if we're doing it one-on-one, like what we did, is too expensive, you can do group classes, which are over the weekend with other couples. Or if you don't have a lot of time, and you want to just do it in your own pace, you can do the online course. That is, honestly, it's a really good price.
Something this important.
I think it's like, how much is the online course? So the online course starts from $199, and that's the basics package, and then it goes up from there. So it's fairly like cost effective.
Very cost effective for what you get.
Yeah, like you learn so much. So you can do that if you're poor, time poor.
If you're poor, for something this important, you can't put a price on it.
No,
it's childbirth. How can you go into something this significant not knowing what you're doing and not knowing how to support your partner or anything like that?
It's crazy. Like what I've learned, I will carry through my life, and especially the relaxation and getting yourself into a positive mind. What we learn about affirmations, you can apply that to anything, not just childbirth. The online course details below, you just click on that link and off you go. So the final question, do you need to practice the techniques in hypnobirthing? Yes, you need to practice. So like anything, the course is amazing. You learn a lot. There's a lot of knowledge, but you get folders, resources, meditation tracks, and you do need to practice. So you need to say your affirmations every day, like put them around your house.
Or as much as you can.
Yeah.
You don't have to do them every day, but...
Do the exercises together, the breathing. Oh my God, breathing. We didn't even speak about breathing. No one asked a question about breathing. Breathing is so important. Wow. And the deep breathing, you can apply it to anything. That's good to practice.
But the childbirth, actual birthing breathing, when you breathe down into your stomach, you're breathing down like it's...
Like you're breathing to push your baby out.
Yeah, it's like your breath is pushing your baby out. It's crazy what you learn.
You do need to practice that though. So you can do the deep breathing for like 3 minutes every day, just even if you're sitting on the toilet.
Exercise is the most important to practice though, because that's what's going to open up.
And no, the meditation too. So you
that as well,
and the self-hypnosis.
But you need to open yourself up.
Yeah, just like, I think you just got to get yourself in a positive space. And if you do like a little meditation daily, or practice breathing or practice exercise, the exercises whenever you can. And we're losing daylight. But yes, as we were saying, breathing is really important. And yes, you do need to practice like anything. The more you practice, the better you'll become at it. That's the end of our Q&A. We will be documenting, I guess, everything up till the birth now. So we will be talking a lot of hypnobirthing stuff like through our stories and on here too. So if you have any further questions, do not hesitate to send them through to us. I think we're going to leave it there.
Yeah.
So today's post notification shout out is going to Emily George. Hey Emily, how are you? Good. I don't know.
You just reply to yourself.
Thank you so much for subscribing to our channel. So if you guys would like a post notification shout out, all you have to do is give this video a thumbs up, hit that bell button and subscribe to our channel. Comment done in the space below. I know I'm going red. And also, no, I've got spots.
Did someone say that to you?
I said it to myself. Also for extra points, hashtag the condos on our Instagrams. Thank you for watching our hypnobirthing Q&A. And also a big thank you to Shari from Belly to Birth, who has taught us all of this. So we're going to put her details below as well. So if you are in the Brisbane or Gold Coast area, definitely do a one-on-one class with her or even her group classes. She's absolutely amazing. So this is her website and Instagram.
Thanks guys.
Catch you later, condos.
Peace out.
Bye.